I'm very proud to present to you my senior year project. I hope that at least one of you likes dogs, because this is a very dog-oriented presentation. For any of you that have a dog, do you know the feeling when you have a really stressful day at work, and then you go home to see your wiggling, happy dog who's so excited to see you, and just saying hi and petting and playing with the animal really brightens your day? So really, all dogs interact with their owners this way, but I was wondering if you could place any dog in a setting with strangers and have them provide the same emotional benefits as they do for their owners. This human-animal interaction where the pets provide comfort is known as pet therapy, and with dogs, it's known as dog therapy. So my research and personal experience has shown that dog therapy can provide significant benefits to people in need, that any dog can become a therapy dog with proper training and socialization. And if more dog owners knew about their pet's potential to provide joy and healing to others, more patients and elderly persons could experience the benefits of dog therapy. And now, before the slideshow, there's someone I want you to meet. So if you could just hold on 1 second, that would be great. You can just let go. He'll come. Okay, thanks. Come on, bud.
Do you want the house lights on for this?
Sure. Can they see with that table there, though? Can I move it? Okay. This is my dog, Reggie. Can everyone see him? Come here. Good boy. Stay. Come here. Sit. Stay. I know. So Reggie is a certified therapy dog, and I thought it would be easier for you to connect with my project if you saw my inspiration. And you can't tell right now, but Reggie used to be a terribly behaved dog. He's the definition of a bad dog. But through proper training and lots of time, he's become a really well-behaved dog, and I wanted to show you his progress. Come here, Reg. Come here. I'm feeding him Fruit Loops. That's his favorite food. Sit. Sit. Good boy. Down. Come here. Down. Down. Stay. Ready? Stay. Down. Down. Stay. Ah. Good boy. Reggie has a lot of prey drive, which means he really likes treats. He'll do anything for food. So he'll often do every trick he possibly knows in one roll, and then he'll get the treat. Sit, down, roll over, roll over. Good boy. Good boy. Down, play dead. Reggie, down, play dead. Down, 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 play dead. Reggie, what are you doing, bud? Down, 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 play dead. Good boy. Good boy. So as you can see, he stays very focused on me because I have the food. And in addition to doing tricks, he is also really good with the elderly patients I work at an assisted living in West Newton. And he became a therapy dog because he was able to interact nicely and accept food gently from people, and overall just be really great with other people. And none of this, come here, come here, sit. None of this came naturally to him because he's very energetic, as you can sort of tell right now. But with lots of training and time, he's become a really great therapy dog. And I believe that any dog can become a therapy dog with proper training. And as you will soon learn, dog therapy benefits everyone involved, which makes it a really rewarding and worthwhile experience. All right, good boy, Reg. You can go. Come here. Therapy dog, you're probably curious as to what exactly is dog therapy. So now we can go to the slideshow. Can we get the lights? Thank you. What is dog therapy? So the term dog therapy is actually too broad. It's inaccurate because originally when therapy with animals started, there weren't many different types. But as therapy has progressed with animals, there's all different techniques involved. There's all different ways animals can help. So dog therapy is basically a blanket term for all the different types of therapy out there. The two types of therapy I'm talking about today are animal-assisted activities, which is AAA, and animal-assisted therapy, which is AAT. These two groups were created by the Delta Society to differentiate between the types of therapy. And the Delta Society is a therapy organization that certifies dogs all over the country. And animal-assisted activities is the type that I do with Reggie and the type that I'm mainly talking about in this presentation. And it's more of a casual, it's called meet and greets, where a dog and owner team, called a therapy team, goes and visits in hospitals or nursing homes or schools and interacts with the people just to brighten their day for the moment. Whereas AAT is a lot more formal, and it's actually part of the treatment plan for the patient. And there's a specified time that they come to perform a specified task to get a certain result. All the notes and data are taken down. It's a lot more involved. So for me to get involved with that would have been a little bit too difficult. So I got involved with the more casual form of animal-assisted activities, and it's been a lot of fun. So just to make sure that we see the difference, when people think of animals helping people, they often think of the guide dogs that help the blind, the search and rescue dogs that help during natural disasters, such as in 9/11, they search through the rubble, and hearing dogs, the dogs that help deaf people know when the phone is ringing, when the doorbell's ringing. These are called assistance or service animals, and that's what normally comes to your mind when you think of animals helping people, but these are different than therapy dogs. According to Assistance Dogs International, which is the group that certifies assistance dogs all over the country. An assistance dog is a generic term for a guide, hearing, or service dog specifically trained to do more than one task to mitigate the effects of an individual's disability. And these animals are different because they've been trained through a much more rigorous process. And they're also protected under federal law, the Americans with Disabilities Act of 1990, which allows them into any public place. Whereas therapy dogs must adhere to the building regulations in terms of where they can and can't enter, but these dogs are allowed to go anywhere to help the people that they live with. So back to pet therapy. The use of animals in therapy dates back to 9th century Belgium, where farm animals were used as rehabilitation tools for elderly patients. And as I said before, many new techniques with animals in therapy have come out, and since then they realized that transporting livestock to facilities was obviously not the easiest way to go about it. So they transferred to smaller animals, which is where dogs come in. Dogs are very versatile because of their relatively small size and companion personality. They like to be with people, they like to please, which makes them a great candidate for therapy. And really any breed can participate. There's no discrimination based on breed, because big dogs like this Great Dane can sit next to beds or wheelchairs. They don't need to jump up on anything. They're very accessible. And then small dogs like this pug can sit on people's laps, sit on chairs, beds, and do therapy that way. So size is not an issue. There are some great general health benefits with dog therapy, which is awesome because it's everyday volunteers that provide the service. So it's a free service that can really benefit certain people. Petting, brushing, and throwing a ball can all help improve fine motor skills. So for example, there's an elderly woman in a wheelchair that's throwing a ball for a dog. She's actually improving her muscle tone in her arm. And then seeing animals ignites memories of past pet experiences. And then sharing those stories develops cognitive skills. So if an old man saw a little white dog and it reminded him of a white dog that he had, sharing those stories is helping his brain develop as well. There's also several scientific studies that have recorded data that shows the great benefits of dog therapy. These are taken from WebMD.com. People with terminal illnesses who own pets are actually less likely to suffer from depression than those without pets, because owning and caring for a pet gives people a sense of purpose in life. And then petting and playing elevates levels of serotonin and dopamine, which are nerve transmitters with pleasurable and calming properties. So the physical interaction actually results in a chemical reaction that helps people feel better and stay happy. At the University of Wisconsin-Madison, they showed that infants raised in pet-owning households had significantly fewer allergies and eczema, a skin condition, than those without pets, because pets help build an immunity to dust, animal fur, and dander. At Queen's University Belfast, they showed that pet owners have lower blood pressure and cholesterol levels and are less likely to develop ordinary sicknesses such as the flu. And most of this is due to the fact that when you own a pet, you're a lot more active. And activity results in health benefits in all different parts of the body. And then I thought it was interesting that at Midland Life Insurance Company of Columbus, Ohio, they actually offer a lower premium to their pet-owning clients over 75 years old because generally people who own pets are healthier. So there's obviously many benefits from dog therapy, but you can't always understand why certain things happen. So Sir Isaac Newton came up with the black box theory that explains how things happen, but not why things happen. The black box theory is that there's some input or stimulus that goes into a black box, and inside the black box, something occurs, but it can't be seen or understood, and then there's some output. And in therapy, the beneficial outcomes are really all that matter. So though it would be very interesting to understand what happens in between, it really can't be discovered. So therapy is based on the outcomes and not exactly why things occur. So in order for dogs to make these benefits occur, they have to become a certified therapy dog. And in order to become certified, a handler and dog team must join a therapy organization. Dog Bones and Caring Canines are two organizations in the Massachusetts area. And then Therapy Dogs International is a nationwide organization that certifies dogs all over the country. And the dogs go through a series of classes depending on what the organization has for their program. And then at the end, they must pass the certification test that ensures they can behave properly around strange equipment like wheelchairs, walkers, medical equipment, and then strange people, because they're going to be confronted with all sorts of situations depending on where they go for therapy. So there's some debate in the therapy dog world as to what types of dogs can begin the training process. It's widely understood that any breed can participate because size doesn't matter, things like that. But it's not accepted that all personality types can participate. Some people believe that dogs should have an innately calm, gentle, sweet, peaceful nature, which would be great, and there definitely are some dogs that are like that naturally. But in general, dogs are animals, and they like to bounce around, they like to be crazy. But that doesn't mean they should be excluded from therapy, in my opinion, because dogs are very smart, and they can learn to behave correctly if they're taught correctly. So my case study was Reggie. He was pretty good today. He's a little bit rambunctious, but 2 months ago, he was the worst dog you can ever imagine. This is just one of many photos I have of him doing something he's not supposed to. He would eat the trash, drink out of the toilet, pee and poop inside, run away, scratch the doors, bark, jump on the table. He literally eats homework all the time. He eats markers, chews toys. He does everything you would not want a dog to do, basically. So I realized that if I could get Reggie to become a therapy dog, then any dog could become a therapy dog. So in order to have him become a therapy dog, I knew that he obviously required training, so I had to figure out why dogs misbehave to begin with. And I came up with 3 main reasons. Either they're unexercised, unsocialized, or untrained. And Reggie was a combination of all 3 of those. So exercise is very important for dogs because just like kids, they need to be able to run around before they can focus. Just like kids go out to recess before they can do well in school, dogs need to be able to run around before they'll sit and listen to you. Socialization is probably the most important part of training for therapy. According to A Dog Who's Always Welcome, which is a book written by assistants and therapy dog trainers, socialization is the process of desensitizing any living being to a wide variety of environmental conditions and situations through repeated exposure. And because dogs, depending on where they are, will be confronted with confusing and sometimes frightening sights, sounds, and smells, the 3 S's, it takes a lot of practice in order to be able to train an animal with a heightened sense of hearing and smell to be able to act calmly in those situations. And it's very important that when training for therapy, you do it many times, of course, but also not to force the interaction. For example, if you're trying to teach a dog to be okay around wheelchairs, you don't want to put a wheelchair in the middle of the room and then shove the dog's face into it to say, it's okay, don't worry. Instead, you'd want to put the wheelchair in the room, let the dog off the leash, and let the dog approach the object on its own. And once it knows it's not a threat, it'll be okay around them. Also, fear periods. Not many people know about them, but dogs go through around 2 fear periods in their life, and it's when they're more susceptible to become afraid of something, but then also to become fearless of something. So there are periods where they're more susceptible to have a reaction. They occur around the ages of 6 to 8 weeks. So breeders, if they know about fear periods, will be extra careful to train their dogs through certain situations during that time, and then also around the age of 1 year. So in terms of training for therapy, you might want to have a dog, say, that seems to be afraid of men, which some dogs are, to have calm, safe interactions with men around the age of 1 year so that later on in life they'll have no problem with them whatsoever. And then the third one is training. This is training in terms of commands. Dogs must be able to respond to you in all sorts of settings, no matter what, because for safety reasons and then also for entertainment reasons, such as doing tricks. Some common commands for therapy are heel, when the dog stays next to you, leave it if there's something on the floor, you don't want them to pick it up, drop it if they happen to get something in their mouth and they need to let it go, and then stay, come, crawl, roll over, things that Reggie just did. They can be for entertainment purposes. And then practice is definitely a big issue, something that has to occur, but there's actually a rule of 7 that many trainers use. The magical number 7 was an essay written by George A. Miller, a famous mathematician, and he realized that the mammalian mind has severe limitations on the amount of information it is able to receive, process, and remember. And this is because he noticed many patterns of 7 in our daily lives. There's 7 wonders of the world, 7 seas, the 7 deadly sins, the 7 levels of hell, the 7 primary colors, the 7 notes on the musical scale, the 7 days of the week, and there's many, many more. So he realized that that number 7 is clearly a very important part of our lives. And he decided that 7 is actually the number of times we need to see to comprehend something. And 7 is also the maximum amount of new information the brain can take in at a time. So dog trainers took this information and used it towards their training techniques. So trainers will expose their puppies to 7 new situations and practice tricks 7 times before the dog will understand it. And then the most extreme believers in the theory, especially ones who are breeders who are raising puppies, will introduce a puppy to 7 new dogs and 7 new people while visiting 7 new environments each day of the 7-day week. And then hopefully after that week, they've been exposed to all sorts of situations 7 times that they become accustomed to it. So when training Reggie, Reggie was 6 when we started the training process, so he was too old to use the number 7, but this can be used for younger dogs. So when training Reggie, I had to go over the 3 things we talked about earlier. So for exercise, I took him on longer walks to help him release energy so he could focus during training sessions. I took him to dog parks so he could fill his social outlet. Dogs are social creatures. If they were in the wild, they would be in a pack. And especially for a dog that's in an only dog household, they don't get that canine interaction they need to be really happy. So taking him to parks allowed him to get used to other dogs and feel comfortable around them. And then teaching him tricks allowed him to get praise and treats as a result of doing them correctly. So now he associates me with treats and good things, and he'll follow me around the house instead of doing bad things. And then he's also able to listen to me in situations where there's a lot of things going on, which can be great for therapy. So in order for Reggie to become certified, he got certified through Dog Bones, which stands for Dogs Building Opportunities for Nurturing and Emotional Support. And to pass the test, he was able to restrain himself around dogs, receive pats from strangers, stay calm in the presence of walkers, wheelchairs, and then also focus on me. And the result is that he's a great therapy dog. This is him with one of his buddies at the Golden Living Center, a nursing home in West Newton. Here's another picture. He has a great time. The residents love him there. They say hi to him and give him pats, and he kisses them, and they really light up when they see him. It's a very rewarding experience because I know that my dog is bringing so much joy to these people. So in addition to training my own dog, I wanted to find out the perspective from other therapy teams and watch other dogs in action. So I shadowed at Franciscan Children's Hospital, which has a dog therapy program, on the psychiatric unit and the autism unit. On the psych ward, the children would all sit in a circle, and the dog would stay in the middle and go around and see everyone, and the kids would interact with the dog and ask questions and really take their mind off everything else that was going on. And then on the autism unit, they would go into a padded room because the kids are often unpredictable, and then they would throw the ball for the dog, and they would play fetch for 10 or 20 minutes, and the kids really got a lot out of it. And after talking with the coordinators, they said that the kids are so well behaved during the program because they're so entranced by the dogs that they forget to act out. So it's a really great experience for everyone. This is taken from Caring Canine's website. They allowed me to use their pictures. The earlier ones were from them too. And this is basically what would happen on the psych ward, where the dog would lie down or go say hi to people, and the kids are so well behaved, they just love seeing the dog. They'd get to interact with the dog, and it's a really great experience. So these are 2 dogs that I interacted with at Franciscan's. This is Dart and Dinah. Dart goes on the medical unit. He's smaller. He can go on wheelchairs and interact with kids that really need a gentle dog. And then Dinah is a little more rough and tumbly. So she'll go with the kids that want to throw the ball and roughhouse with her. And they were really great. My favorite dog was Promise. Promise is in a wheelchair because when she was younger, she was trying to protect a toy that was behind her, and she spun herself around and fractured her spinal cord and became paralyzed. So she's been in a wheelchair for the past 2 years, and she's a perfect therapy dog because she has a disability, and whether the kids have either a physical or mental disability, she's able to show them that you can still have a really great life and learn to live with your disability. So they always have a ton of questions for her. It's really neat to see them interact with her. Dog therapy is really beneficial for everyone. The owner, once the dog is trained, has a happier, better behaved pet. The dog is better socialized, more exercised, and overall happier. And then the patients, of course, receive the physical and emotional benefits of dog therapy. So to show everyone and share these benefits with people besides people that get to watch the presentations, I decided to create a book. So this is my product. It's called Kisses from Canines. This is the front and back cover. It's a collection of anecdotes written by dog therapy owners regarding their experiences with therapy. And I did it through blurb.com, so you download the software and you can create your book. This is the front and back cover. This is the inside cover, inside pages. And I got around 15 people to contribute stories, which was really awesome. And they have their picture, their story, a fun fact. Actually just got the first version a couple days ago in the mail. I ordered 1 copy, and then I'm going to edit it and look through it, and then I'll order them in bulk. This is the front and back cover. This is the inside. I have a foreword. I have a dedication to SYP, of course. I have an introduction that says about therapy, a lot of great stuff. So I'm hoping to give everyone who participated a copy of this, and then anyone who wants to learn about therapy, I will give a copy as well. So my final message. If more people knew the benefits of dog therapy and how with proper training their own dog could become certified, more owners would have better behaved pets and more people could be helped. So become involved in dog therapy today. Bibliography, and that's the end. Thank you.
Time for Q&A.
Yes. Any questions? Yes. Hello.
And I know that the gist of the information in the presentation is to tell us that all dogs are open to being trained in this way.
Yep.
So this might be a bad question, but are
Okay.
there certain dogs that are more open to being trained than others? Are there certain breeds of dogs that just
Right.
naturally take to it?
Yes, absolutely. Labs and golden retrievers are basically the most versatile dogs. They're used for service dogs, assistance dogs, and therapy dogs, just because they're very, very loyal and they really like to please. Whereas some dogs, poodles, for example, Reggie's part poodle, but poodles are very, very independent. They turn their nose up in the air and they'll walk the other way. So definitely some dogs are more susceptible, but with proper training and the right owner, any dog can become a part of therapy. Anyone else? Yeah.
I have a lot of questions, actually. I'll just start with one. I forget the name of the researcher, but the person who had figured out the number 7.
Yeah.
You mentioned that he decided that 7 was the number. I'm curious about how that decision was made. Was it an emotional decision just on recognition of the number 7 being ever present, or was there actual research?
There's a ton of research. The essay is like 70 pages long. I couldn't read the whole thing. But yeah, he did a lot of studies and showed people that tried to memorize things fewer number of times but were not able to retain the information, as well as people that learned it 7 times, and also people that learned things too many times were still not able to retain the information. So 7 happened to work out. I think he got the idea from all the examples in everyday life and then tested them out, and it turned out he was right.
I also had a question about the black box. You
Yeah.
mentioned it, but it wasn't clear how that connected to
Dog therapy?
dog therapy. Yeah.
It's basically a way of explaining dog therapy in general and the way that it can benefit others, because people are often curious as to why petting a dog will make someone react in a certain way. And as I said, there are chemical reactions that occur, but there are an incredible number of stories, if you read any dog therapy book, where a person will walk for the first time who haven't walked in 2 years. They'll talk for the first time, they'll smile for the first time. These amazing recoveries happen, these miracles happen basically, just from interacting with the animal. So that's something that largely cannot be explained. And the back box theory is a way of looking at that situation and saying, okay, we know these great outcomes, and it's the outcomes that matter, not what happens in between, because we just can't find out what that information is.
What do you think is going on there?
Between the dog and the...
What's happening in the black box with dog therapy?
That is a good question. I don't know as much about physically what's happening. I know for me, I've been attracted to animals more than anything else for my entire life. And seeing an animal, no matter what type, no matter where I am, I'm automatically going to focus on that animal, and it's going to change my perspective on the rest of the day. I'll just be happier in general. And I'm sure there are lots of people out there like that, especially in a situation where their life is sad for whatever reason, especially the people that these animals are visiting. So for a dog that's bringing so much joy to them, it can almost make them rise out of that depression state, and great things occur.
Was there, in your research, were there findings that simply didn't support the notion?
As in, sometimes dogs don't help?
Yeah.
They weren't reported. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure some people don't react to animals, but largely the dogs are able to have huge, huge impact. And of course, during the studies, I'm sure there were some people that still got sick when they had pets, things like that. But the large majority of people are normally healthier with animals, things like that.
How old is Reggie again?
He'll be 7 in July. So he's kind of old, but.
Prior to starting this, you clearly already had an interest, and it seemed like you took it to a fantastic next level.
Thank you.
You had this interest in dogs, and you're now making something concrete of it, which is just, you know, it's a nice, it's a great thing to have an interest and to be able to take it even further.
Yeah, thank you.
I just wanted to mention that if you recognize that. And also I was curious how your parents felt about this project, particularly based on how your interest in this project has improved dogs' behavior,
Right.
the condition of your house.
Definitely. When I got Reggie, I was like 12, yeah. So I asked every single day, several times a day, from the day I could talk to get a dog. And my parents lasted 12 years. And finally they broke down, they were like, fine, you can have a dog. So he's always been considered my dog, and it's always my fault every time he acts out. But I was little when we got him, and the first 2 years of a dog's life are the greatest amount of time where they're going to learn things, where you're supposed to train them. So he was not trained properly at all. But then finally, when I was able to create a project with dog therapy, originally I didn't know which way I was going to go, but then one day Reggie did something really awful. I don't even remember what it was. He probably got into the trash, drank it. He did something terrible. And I was like, I bet I could stop you from doing that. And so when I started researching different training techniques, I realized that he's really, really smart. And thankfully, he's really, really food-driven, which is a very key component of his training. So he will learn tricks like that. Like when I said he knows how to crawl, I could be like, crawl, and he'd crawl the first second just to get the food. Like, it's unbelievable how quickly he can learn. So I realized that we could save a lot of things in our house and make us all a lot happier if I just geared this towards him, and then I could use his improvement to show that this really does work.
You've asserted that for the clients there's much benefit. What have you gotten from your work with dog therapy?
I have gotten so much out of this. School is great. I've actually always done well in school. I've been fine in school. But I've always been really upset that I haven't been able to learn about animals. I'm going to college next year to become a veterinarian. And I'm really excited about that because that's all going to be geared towards what I like. But this was an opportunity for me to learn on school time what I love to learn about and then teach others. So I've gotten a lot out of it because I've gotten a lot closer to Reggie, actually, and I've gotten him to improve. And then I loved going to the hospital and seeing these kids just light up at these dogs. And I realized that this should be more well known because everyone gets something out of it. And it's just a really great experience for everyone. So I've loved every minute of it. Anything else?
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Should I undo this?